I have always been what people call a good girl. I was not perfect. I can get angry sometimes, and I like to gossip a little with my friends. But when it came to men in love, I was very disciplined. I believed in love, but I wanted to wait for the right man, the one God had kept for me. My friends liked to tease me. We would be in school and they would point at a fine guy. See your husband there, they would say and laugh. When I said I was not interested because the man was not serious with God, they would shake their heads and say, are you waiting for an angel? This is Ghana, my sister. Men are men. I would just smile. My smile was my answer for everything. I would tell them when the right man comes, I will know. God will not let me miss him. I was not in a hurry. My focus was on finishing school, helping my family, and going to church. My life was simple, and I liked it that way. Then there was my friend Nancy. Nancy was from my area. She was a lot of fun, very confident. She knew how to talk to men. Her phone was always buzzing with calls from different men. I liked her because she made me laugh. But Nancy always had a name for me. She called me Sister Mary because I said I was a virgin and I planned to wait until marriage. She would say, Sister Mary, come down from the ceiling. Life is happening down here. Sometimes her jokes were funny. Other times they stung a little, but I never showed it. She was my friend and I thought she meant well. We would go out and she would try to get me to talk to men. I always refused. I told her my standards were high for a reason. She would just laugh and say, okay, Sister Mary, we shall see. Then one Saturday afternoon, we were sitting in front of my house. We were just talking about nothing. Then Nancy turned to me. She had a funny smile on her face. You know, she said, I think I have finally met someone you will like. My heart did a small jump. I tried to keep my face calm, but inside I was curious. I tried not to show it too much, but Nancy saw it. She laughed and started to tell me about him. His name is Fred, she said. He attends my church. This one is fine, oh, and he has a good job. He's an engineer. Can you imagine? I just listened. But that is not even the best part. Nancy continued, moving closer. He sings in the choir. His voice is like honey. And I am telling you, this guy, he takes God seriously. He is not one of those pretenders. He is the real thing. This got my attention. A man who was fine, with a good job, and he loved God. It sounded too good to be true. My face must have shown my doubt because Nancy leaned in. I am serious, she said. He has been single for a long time. He says he's also waiting for the right woman. I looked at him and I looked at you, and something in my spirit said you two will click. My heart started to beat a little faster. Could this be it? Could this be the man God was preparing for me? Nancy arranged for us to meet. It was after church service on Sunday. I was nervous. My palms were sweating. I waited outside my church building. Then I saw him walking towards me with Nancy. Oh, Nancy was right. He was handsome, tall and dark, with a smile that was straight and clean. He was dressed simply, but neatly in a war-iron shirt and trousers. Nancy introduced us. Fred, this is my good friend. He stretched out his hand for a handshake, a proper handshake, not holding my hand for too long. Hello, he said. Nancy has told me so many good things about you. It is a pleasure to finally meet you. His voice was calm and respectful. I managed to say, hello, Fred. It is nice to meet you too. We went to a small chop bar nearby to eat. I was watching him closely. The way he talked, the way he listened. When I spoke, he really listened. He looked me in the eye and didn't interrupt. He didn't try to flirt or give me unnecessary compliments. He asked about my studies, about my family. When the food came, he didn't just start eating. He looked at me and said, shall we pray? He held my hand, bowed his head, and said a short, beautiful prayer, thanking God for the food and for our new friendship. In my mind, a voice was shouting, this is it. This is what you have been praying for. This is the man you have been waiting for. He was everything I had ever wanted. He was respectful. He was God-fearing. He was handsome. My heart was full of joy. That evening, I was in my room thinking about the day, smiling to myself. Then my phone buzzed. It was a text message from Fred. My hands trembled a little as I opened it. The message was simple, and it made my heart fly. It read, "Hello, I thank God for connecting us today." After that first text, things moved quickly, but in a good way. It didn't feel rushed, it felt right. Fred and I started talking every single day. Not just good morning and good evening. We had real conversations. We talked about our faith. He would ask me, "What did you learn from the sermon in your church on Sunday?" And we would discuss it for a long time. We talked about our work. He told me about the challenges at his engineering site, and I told him about my struggles with my final year projects. We even talked about the future, the kind of house we would like, how many children we wanted. He said he wanted 3. I said I wanted 2. We laughed about it. It was not like other guys. He would send me Bible verses in the morning. He would send me long voice notes, not of gossip, but of him praying for me. He would pray for my day, for my family, for our future together. I would wake up to these prayers on my phone. It made me feel so safe, so loved. Nancy was always checking on me. She would call me. "So how is our fine choir boy?" she would ask, laughing. I would tell her how well everything was going. She would say, "I told you he's a good one, a real man of God. Don't mess it up, oh, Sister Mary." I would just smile. I was so grateful to her for connecting us. After 2 months, I felt a deep peace in my heart. There were no mind games, no pressure. He never tried to touch me in a wrong way. He never made me feel bad for wanting to wait. He respected my boundaries. It was so easy. One day, I told Nancy, "He is different. This one is real. I think he's the one." She beamed with pride. It was like she had won a prize. "You see," she said, pointing a finger at me. "You see, when I talk, you should listen. I would never bring a bad product to my sister Mary." We all laughed. Everything was perfect. I was so sure. My guard was completely down. Then, on the day that marked exactly 3 months since we met, he surprised me. He told me he was taking me out for a special dinner. He didn't tell me where. He picked me up and we drove to a very nice hotel in Accra. He had booked a private table in their restaurant. There were flowers and everything. I was so impressed. We ate good food and talked and laughed. He was so sweet, so attentive. He kept telling me how much I meant to him, how he had never met a woman like me. He said God had answered his prayers when he brought me to him. After the dinner, he said he had a surprise. He led me not to the car park, but to the elevator. My heart started to beat fast. He had booked a room, a beautiful big room with a view of the city lights. I was nervous. I told him, "Fred, I am waiting." He held my hands. He looked into my eyes. He said, "I love you. I am going to marry you. This is just a celebration of our love. God understands." He looked so sincere. He sounded so sure. And in that moment, all the prayers, all the waiting felt like they had led me to this man, to this room. The man I trusted completely. The man I believed I would marry. So that night, in that hotel room, I gave him my virginity. I didn't know I had fallen into a trap. Welcome back to my channel, and I hope you are doing good today. If you are new here, I'm Vera, but you can call me V. And I share real life stories that will shock you, break your heart, inspire you, and sometimes make you laugh. And so if this is something you love, please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Today's shout out goes to Maria Matonkara 3584, Abina Rejoice 3230, and Amakari. They were the first people to comment on my last video. Thank you so much for the support, babes. And you know I love you. And now without any further delay, let's continue the stories. For weeks after that night, I was glowing. I mean, my skin was shining. My mother would look at me and ask, "Are you using a new cream?" I would just smile and say no. It was the happiness inside me that was showing outside. My first love felt perfect. Everything felt new and beautiful. When I prayed, I thanked God specifically. I would say, "Thank you, God, for sending me my own Adam." I felt that complete. Fred was my missing rib. Everything finally made sense. Nancy noticed the change immediately. The next time I saw her, she looked at me up and down with a knowing smirk. Hey, Sister Mary, you have finally done the thing, right? And you enjoyed it, I can tell, she teased. Her voice was loud. See your life now. You have finally come down from the ceiling. Welcome to the world of women. Before, that kind of talk would have made me feel a little ashamed. But now, I didn't mind at all. I was too happy. I just laughed with her. I was a woman in love with a man who loved God and was going to marry me. And Fred was so consistent. He didn't change after he got what he wanted. He kept texting me every morning. He called me every night before I slept. He supported me with my schoolwork, encouraging me when I was tired. Sometimes he would even send me small money, not even a lot, just something for transport or to buy myself a nice drink. It wasn't about the money. It was about the care. It showed me he was thinking of me. My heart was so full, it felt like it would burst. I had no worries. All my friends who had doubted me were now admiring me. I had the perfect boyfriend. One Sunday morning, my church service finished early. I was feeling so much love for Fred. I decided I wanted to surprise him. I wanted to go to his church and see him sing in the choir like Nancy had said. I was so excited to see him in his elements, praising God. I called Fred. I said, my voice bright with happiness. My service is over. I want to come to your church today. I want to see you sing. There was a silence on the other end of the phone. It was a long, heavy silence. My smile slowly faded. When he finally spoke, his voice was different. It was tight, strained. Why? He asked. I was confused. Why? Because I want to see my boyfriend in church. Is that not a good thing? He let out a long breath. It is not a good idea, he said. Let us wait till later. My heart sank a little. Wait for what? Fred, what is wrong? I could almost hear him struggling for an excuse. Then he said it. The words that started to crack my perfect world. He said, let's wait. The people in my church, they talk too much. At first, I tried to brush it off. I told myself, maybe he's right. Maybe church people can be gossipers. I didn't want to be a troublesome girlfriend. I wanted to be understanding. But after that day, something changed. Slowly, Fred started to change. He began to make excuses, a lot of them. We had a plan to go out on Saturday. He would call me at the last minute. So sorry. Work has called an emergency meeting. This my bosses, they don't have mercy. I would say it is okay, but my heart would feel heavy. He started missing my calls. Before, he would pick up on the first ring. Now, my phone will ring and go to voicemail. He will call back hours later, sounding very tired. Babe, I am so sorry. My phone was on silent. Work is just killing me this period. Please, you have to understand. I tried to understand. I really did. But my spirit, that small voice inside me, started to feel uneasy. Something was not right. It was a feeling in my stomach, a tightness. I spoke to Nancy about it. I told her how Fred was becoming distant, how he didn't want me to come to his church. Nancy, she just laughed. Sometimes you are too sensitive, she said, shaking her head. Men are like that. They get busy. They have pressure. Fred is a serious man with a big job. He is working for your future. Be patient. I listened to her because she was my friend. She was the one who brought us together. She knew him from church. If she said it was normal, then maybe I was just worrying for nothing. Maybe the problem was me. So I pushed the uneasy feeling down. I prayed more. I asked God to take away my doubts and to give me a peaceful heart. I tried to be the supportive, patient girlfriend Fred needed. But the feeling wouldn't go away. It stayed there. Then one night, I had a dream. I was in a church, standing at the altar. I was wearing a beautiful white wedding dress. It was my wedding day. I was so happy. I looked around for Fred, but I couldn't see him. I looked down at my hands, holding a bouquet of flowers. That is when I saw it. The white dress, it was stained. A big dark red stain was spreading from the chest down to the skirts. It looked like blood. In my dream, I tried to wipe it away, but it only got bigger and darker. I looked up and the church was empty. I woke up with a start, my heart pounding like a drum. My body was covered in sweat. The room was dark and quiet. I couldn't go back to sleep. I just sat there in my bed, holding my knees, remembering the red stain on the white dress. After that dream, nothing was the same. Fred, he became a different person altogether. The morning Bible verses stopped. The voice notes prayers disappeared. The good night calls, the ones that used to be the best part of my day, they just ended. He would send a dry text message instead. Sleep well, or sometimes nothing at all. I tried to talk to him. I would call and ask, Fred, what is happening? Is everything okay? Did I do something wrong? His answer was always the same, a tired sigh. Nothing is wrong. I am just under a lot of pressure. I will explain everything to you soon. Just be patient. But soon never came. The distance between us grew wider and wider. I felt so alone. The only person I could talk to was Nancy. I would go to her, my eyes begging for answers. Nancy, he doesn't call me anymore. He doesn't even pray for me. This is not a Fred I know. Nancy's attitude started to change too. She seemed impatient with me. Again, she would say, sounding annoyed, how many times will we talk about this? Stop being so paranoid. Maybe he's busy saving money for your engagement ring. Did you think about that? When she said that, a little spark of hope would light up in my chest. An engagement ring, maybe that was it. Maybe he was planning a big surprise. I would laugh it off and say, hey, I hope so. But deep down, I was scared. The dream of the stained dress was always at the back of my mind. My prayers changed. Before, I was thanking God. Now, I was begging, God, please fix whatever is wrong. If it is me, change me. If it is him, touch his heart. I don't understand what is happening. I was confused. My spirit was telling me one thing, that something was very off. But Nancy, my own friend, was telling me another, to be patient. I felt like I was losing my mind. One Sunday morning, I woke up feeling empty. Fred had not called or texted all weekend. The house was quiet. I was just lying in my bed, staring at the ceiling. I felt a strange, strong edge in my heart. It was not a thought. It was a push, a command. It was a clear, quiet voice inside me that said, today you will go to that church yourself. I sat up in bed. My heart was pounding. I was scared. What would I see? What would I find? But for the first time in weeks, the heavy feeling in my stomach was gone. It was replaced by a strange sense of purpose. I didn't tell anyone, not Fred, not Nancy. I got dressed in a simple skirt and blouse. I picked up my handbag. I walked out of the house and started heading towards the church I had never been to. I found the church. My heart was beating fast as I walked in. I could hear the music already playing. The service had started. I slipped inside and found a seat at the very back, in a corner where the shadows were deep. It was a perfect spot to observe everything without being seen. I tried to follow the service, but my eyes were busy scanning the congregation. I looked towards the choir stand. I didn't see him there. A part of me felt disappointed. Maybe he wasn't even here today. Maybe this was a foolish trip. Then, during the second praise and worship song, a side door near the front opened. A man walked in, slightly late, and moved to sit in one of the pews. My heart leaped into my throat. It was Fred. Just seeing him made me happy. But that feeling died almost immediately. A woman sitting a few seats away stood up and moved to sit beside him. She was beautiful, dressed in a lovely blue dress, and in her arms she was holding a small baby wrapped in a white cloth. The baby was sleeping. Fred smiled at her. He didn't put his arm around her, but he leaned in close to look at the baby. My breath caught in my chest. Then it got worse. A small boy, maybe 3 or 4 years old, came running down the aisle from where the children were. He ran straight to Fred, his little shoes pattering on the floor. He grabbed onto Fred's leg and looked up, his voice loud and clear. Daddy! The little boy shouted it. Daddy, I finished my biscuits. In that one moment, the whole world just stopped. The music faded away. The people around me became blurry. All I could see was Fred, the woman, the baby, and that little boy calling him daddy. I felt hot and cold at the same time. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I just sat there on the wooden bench, frozen solid. I don't know how long I sat like that. The service continued around me, but I heard nothing. I just stared at the back of his head. My Fred, the man I gave my virginity to, the man who sent me morning prayers. He had a wife. He had children. 2 children. The ringing in my ears got louder. I felt like I was going to be sick. I needed to hear it from someone else. I needed to be sure my eyes were not lying to me. I turned slowly, my body feeling stiff and heavy. I leaned towards the kind-looking older woman sitting next to me. I pointed a trembling finger towards the front and asked her, "Excuse me, auntie, who is that man?" The older woman beside me turned her head. She followed my trembling finger to where Fred was sitting with his family. A warm, casual smile spread across her face. "Oh, him," she said, her voice friendly and full of pride, like she was talking about her own son. "That is Brother Fred. He's a very good brother in this church. A hard-working man." She nodded towards the woman and the baby. "His wife, Sister Grace. She just gave birth again. A beautiful baby girl. That one there is their first son. Lovely family. God is good. Brother Fred, his wife. Lovely family." Each word was like a sharp knife cutting deep into my chest. My heart felt like it was being squeezed by a strong hand. I couldn't breathe. I felt like everyone could see the shame and shock on my face. I managed to give the woman a weak, tight smile. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. I whispered, "Thank you, auntie." Then I stood up. My legs felt like water. I didn't know if they could carry me. I had to get out. I had to get air. I walked out of the church as quietly as I could. My body was shaking from head to toe. I sat under a tree at the back of the church. Different thoughts were running through my mind. I don't know how long I sat there, but I finally stood up and stumbled, trying to find a direction. Any direction away from that place. I just needed to get to the main road and find a trotro, but my path took me near the car park, and that is when I saw them. There, standing next to a car, were Fred and Nancy. They were talking and they were laughing. They looked so comfortable with each other, like they didn't have a care in the world, like they hadn't just shattered my life into a million pieces. I stopped walking. I just stood there, in the middle of the path, staring at them. It was Nancy who saw me first. Her laughter was cut short. A smile vanished from her face like someone had wiped it off with a cloth. Her eyes widened in pure shock. She froze completely, her mouth hanging slightly open. Fred, seeing the change in her, turned to see what she was looking at. His eyes met mine. For a moment, nobody moved. The shock on their faces was real. But in my chest, the shock was turning into something else. A hot, sharp anger. I didn't run. I didn't cry. I started walking. My legs, which felt like water before, now felt strong. I walked straight towards them. My eyes were locked on Fred. I stopped right in front of him. I could see the sweat starting to form on his forehead. Nancy was trying to say something. "Wait, let me explain." I didn't even look at her. I kept my eyes on Fred, the man I thought I would marry. My voice came out quiet, but clear and strong. "Fred," I said, "are you married?" His face, I will never forget it. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. He looked from me to Nancy, like a trapped animal. Nancy stammered, "It is not what you think. Let's go somewhere and talk." But it was too late. The main doors of the church opened, and people started streaming out. Among them was the woman in the blue dress, his wife, Grace. She was carrying the baby, and a little son was holding her hand. She looked towards the car park, probably searching for her husband. She saw our little group. She saw the tense way we were standing. She saw the look on my face and the panic on her husband's. Her own smile faded. She started walking towards us, her steps quick and worried. "Fred," she called out, "what is going on?" Chaos. It all happened at once. People were stopping to watch. Fred's wife reached us, her eyes wide with confusion. Fred, who is this? She asked, looking from him to me. Fred finally found his voice. He looked at me, then at his wife. His hands raised like he was surrendering. He didn't even try to lie. He just looked at me with pleading, guilty eyes and said the most foolish thing I have ever heard. Please, it's complicated. Complicated. The word exploded out of me. I pointed a shaking finger at his wife, at the baby in her arms, at the little boy holding her hand. You have a wife. You have 2 children. What is complicated about that? I was shouting now. All the pain and betrayal poured out in my voice. The whole church car park was watching. That is when Nancy spoke. She had been quiet, watching everything fall apart. But now she looked straight at me. Her face was not sorry. It was cold and hard. She said the words that broke our friendship forever. You always act like such a saint, so pure, so much better than everyone else. Maybe now you will stop. For a second, no one made a sound. It was as if everyone was trying to understand what she had just said. Then it was like a dam broke inside her. All the fake friendship, all the pretend smiles came pouring out in a river of anger. Her eyes were blazing as she looked at me. You think you are better than all of us, she spat, her voice rising. Always with your Bible. I am waiting for the right one. You looked down on me. You looked down on all of us. I was speechless. I could only say, my mouth open. I had never looked down on her. She was my friend. When I showed him your picture, she continued, jabbing a finger towards Fred, who looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him. He said you looked innocent, like a little lamb. And I agreed. I told him, that one, she is Sister Mary. She has never been with a man. She took a step closer to me. Her face twisted with a bitterness I never knew she had. And you know what? I wanted to teach you a lesson. I wanted to show you that you are not better than me, that your purity could be broken. So I set you up. I gave you to my married church brother. I knew you would fall for it. While Nancy was shouting, Fred tried to quietly slip away, but his wife, Grace, was faster. She had been listening, her face changing from confusion to horror to raw fury. She stepped in front of him. You liar, she screamed. And with all her strength, she slapped him across the face. The baby in her arms started to cry. 2 children, Fred. You have 2 children, she cried, her voice breaking. By now, church members had formed a circle around us. There were whispers, gasps, and pointing fingers. I couldn't stand there anymore. The shame was too much. The betrayal was too deep. I looked at Nancy's angry face, at Fred holding his cheek, at his crying wife and children, at the crowd of staring people. That day, my world ended. The life I thought I had, the love I believed in, the friend I trusted, it was all a lie. And the worst part, I had to turn around and walk away. I got home, fell on my bed, and cried until no more tears would come. My phone was buzzing, I didn't care. But later that night, when the room was dark, I looked at it. It was a message from Fred. Please forgive me, I never meant to hurt you. The days that followed were a blur of pain. I cried until my eyes were swollen and red. I cried until my head ached. I stayed in my room with the curtains closed. My mother would bring me food, but I couldn't eat. The food tasted like sand in my mouth. I would just push the plate away. I didn't talk to anyone. My parents knew something was very wrong. My mother sat on my bed one evening and held my hand. What has happened? She said softly. You can tell me. I couldn't tell her the whole story. The shame was too heavy. I looked at her, my eyes filling with fresh tears, and I told her a half truth. The man I loved, Ma, he lied to me. He was not who he said he was. My mother held me while I cried. She didn't press for more details. She just whispered, shh, this pain will pass, I promise you. But it didn't feel like it will pass. In my darkest moments, I would look up at the ceiling and ask God the same questions over and over. Why me? Why did you let this happen? I was trying to do the right thing. I was waiting for you. Why did you let Nancy do this to me? I felt like God had looked away when I needed him the most. The foundation of my faith felt cracked. I focused on myself. I poured all my energy into my final year projects. I spent more time with my family. I stopped chasing the one. I stopped looking at every man as a potential husband. Instead, I decided to become whole first, to be a complete person on my own, with or without a man. I focused on becoming a better me. Months passed. One day, a friend invited me to a birthday party. I was standing in a corner holding a drink, just watching people dance. Then I saw him, a man across the room. He was just talking calmly with a small group. Our eyes met for a second. He gave me a small kind smile before looking away. Later, my friend introduced us. It was different. He pursued me, but with so much patience. His words matched his actions. We dated for 2 years. 2 whole years of getting to know each other, of building trust, of building a real friendship. Then he proposed. We had a beautiful small wedding, surrounded by people who truly loved us. Not long after our wedding, I heard some news from an old friend about Nancy. They said she had met a rich man and was planning a big wedding. But on the wedding day, the man never showed up. He turned out to be fake, a fraudster, lied about his vows. He left her at the altar and she was pregnant. When I heard, I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel like she got what she deserved. I even felt sad for her, for the baby. It has been 5 years now. I am happily married to my man. We are blessed with a beautiful, healthy baby boy. Sometimes I still think about Fred and Nancy. The memory doesn't bring pain anymore. It brings a quiet peace because I see how God took my broken pieces and built something new and strong and beautiful. They broke me, but God rebuilt me better. So to all my sisters listening to this, let me tell you what I learned. Protect your peace. It is more valuable than any relationship. And never lower your standards. The man you want is waiting for you. Most of all, don't rush God's timing. It is perfect. Because what is truly yours, what God has kept for you, will come to you. And it will be worth the wait. Oh, this is a beautiful story. I always say this, and I will keep saying this. Take care of yourselves out there. It is not everyone laughing with you that wants your best interest at heart. Take care of yourself. And like she said, do not lower your standards. What you want, you will get. Let me hear your thoughts down below about this story. And now, you know that this is a judgment-free zone. We listen, we don't judge. So please be kind to her in the comment section. And if you've not subscribed yet, babe, come and join the family. Please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Okay, I'm done. Bye.